Good evening, everybody, and welcome to Why Are You an Entrepreneur? The Trials and Triumphs. I'm Maureen Edwards. I'm the founder of 8 Simple Steps, and tonight is probably one of the most important celebrations we are ever having. I have to tell you, we are celebrating our 1-year anniversary, and I don't know where the time has gone, but when I had the vision of this, I didn't really know what to expect. But I really wanted to get some rock star entrepreneurs, regardless of where they were at their journey, just beginning or maybe in business for decades, to come and share their stories so that other entrepreneurs could understand they're not alone in this journey. They could get some words of wisdom, some inspiration, some best practices and resources. And at the same time, those rockstar entrepreneurs could elevate their exposure to another whole audience who we know are waiting for you to show up. They either need your service or they need your products. I have to say, I didn't know what to expect, but it has been an amazing year. I have met some of the most incredible entrepreneurs, and it's so awesome to see how they have just used this platform, some of them for the first time in front of an audience, and have just soared. Tonight is no exception, and I absolutely had to have one of my most favorite guests back because Mesha Mebane from Infrared Vision, the CEO and founder, kicked off the first one a year ago, and she is back to kick off the second season. Welcome, Mesha. Go ahead and unmute your mic.
Oop,
There.
yeah, how are you this evening?
Good. Don't we love tech?
Oh my
Especially
goodness.
when you're live, right?
Technology is amazing when you're live. I have had so many interviews where technologically have been challenged, but you know what? People know that it happens, so it's all good.
Well,
Hey everyone,
welcome.
how's everybody doing? We got
Everybody's
nothing but
good.
smiles and excitement.
Yep,
We're gonna.
I have my, well, it's not a cocktail. It is just water with ice, but it is in a festive glass. We are celebrating the 1 year.
Yes,
And
yes.
so much has happened to you in the last year that I can't wait to catch up. But
Mhm.
I always start with the same question. And for people who are just tuning in, who are going to watch the replay, the question is, why are you an entrepreneur? And so share with us how you got to this place.
Well, I don't laugh, but I just might compare myself to Jesus today. Jesus was 40 years in the wilderness, and so was I. In my mid 40s, Marine, I just got tired. I had always been in sales since 1993 in some capacity, and in my mid 40s, I just got tired of the same old rigmarole on a lot of jobs. When you become a good sales rep, people rely on you to meet those quotas and things of that nature. And somewhere around my mid 40s, I started looking into the mirror because I was always on the chopping block, as good as my next sale. And why I became an entrepreneur was, number one, was to control my time. I wanted to be free indeed from any kind of manager, quota, uh 8 to 5, looking at the clock, wishing I was somewhere else, drinking a margarita somewhere. And I just looked at in the mirror and I said, I've got to create a vision, infrared vision for myself to get on the other side of a door and become an entrepreneur simply. So I wanted to, my main reason, to be honest with you, without all the other jokes, is to um control my time, understand what that's like to be able to be free and create a day that is free indeed and exercises my creativity, as well as if I'm making somebody else a $500,000 a year, why can't I create my own vision and destiny to make my own money? And so that's what I'm doing.
I just read some statistics that the number one reason people go into entrepreneurship is that they're sick and tired of corporate dictating to them and controlling their destiny. And then the second one is that they want to be their own boss. So right there, you kind of hit number one and number two. And so transitioning to that entrepreneurial mindset, what did you find most challenging to go from kind of that steady stuff to all of a sudden you're on your own?
Well, I mean, number one is the scary part for a lot of people who may be thinking about going into entrepreneurship is how do you cut the parachute strings to everything? I mean, on a job, you have that financial security of knowing your check is collecting in the background. You're setting money aside for your
Mhm.
future. You have your own, someone else is taking care of your health insurance and all those kinds of things. And then and your taxes and all that kind of stuff. But when you jump over to entrepreneurship, that is all that from A to Z is totally your responsibility. So I had to do a lot of self evaluation just to make sure that my vision of becoming an entrepreneur was really as strong as me wanting to not have a boss anymore, not to report to somewhere anymore. So you do have to have a strong wherewithal about self awareness and whether or not you in the mirror can be so motivated to get up every single day and create all those things that you're used to, that comfort level on a day job. You got to do it yourself. So you got to ask yourself, am I disciplined enough to become a successful entrepreneur? Or at least, some people, you had mentioned this to me last year, some people will create businesses that will sustain them. Some will create businesses that will become really, really profitable, into the millions and things of that nature. I'll have to be honest with you, and I'm very honest with you right now. I'm into sustainability because I want to balance my free time as well as go on my vacations, be free for whenever I want to do things. And I'll grow into that $1 million company one day. But it is most necessary to have that awareness and just be happy. And you told me this last year, be happy in the inside of the process. And I am. I really am.
And I love to hear that because I always say, we want you to be prosperous. We want you to thrive. But at the same time, we want you to enjoy this journey along the
Mhm.
way. And you are really representing, I'm enjoying this. I'm doing what I can do. I'm being the best I can be. I'm moving the needle, but you're moving it on your terms. Um, and so I think that leads me into the type of business that you created because I'm hearing about a mindset that you have that a lot of entrepreneurs have maybe not embraced. And isn't that appropriate because you started a business on mindset? Can you share exactly what you are doing and why you picked this?
Okay, so mindset, I believe, does not, I mean, we throw the term out there, but
Mm-hmm.
I don't believe that it gets the proper recognition that it should because I believe, it's like the way we take it, we are like, dropping a couple of dabbles of sugar into our coffee in the morning. But mindset is so important, just like the air in our lungs, our heart, the things that are most important that keep our bodies working. Mindset is just as important as the blood that's running through your veins, meaning the importance of mindset means it's not a mindset when you're approaching a certain task and you do this a certain way or you do that a certain way. Your mind, your brain, and to train your brain, you have to work with that mindset from the time that you wake up into in the morning to the time you go to bed. I like to say it's the engine behind everything that you do and how you approach it, from the way that you take care of yourself personally to your finances to the way you approach your vision and your goals. I mean, it's the thread, it's the main thread from A to Z. It's not a certain category. Mindset is encompasses everything from every day. I mean, so why do we think we should be able to take our mind and not train it to think a certain way and have a certain set of beliefs? I mean, the old Misha, she had a certain set of beliefs where I would say I was more in a fixed mindset capacity. I had certain thoughts that were boxed in and were not really contributing to my growth. But when you start studying and converting yourself over to a growth mindset, you have to kind of stabilize some of those fixed set of beliefs and kind of capture them. We're all fighting between the two every single day. You're never going to be away from it, but you have to capture those fixed mindset thoughts in order to freeze them and then check them and then figure out how can I convert them into a more of a growth capacity. So for example, coming from me, if you asked me 20 years ago, would I ever be an entrepreneur, Maureen? I would say no, never, but I was operating from a fixed mindset perspective. But now that I have grown and changed and evolved in my own life and see myself differently and have such more of a self assuredness and confidence about myself that exudes when you meet me, I understand that people need to see and understand that hey, everybody has the capacity to grow if they would just let go and learn and continue to learn no matter your age. Why do I deal with the 40 plus community? Is because I believe that we get into a certain set of beliefs and we become complacent at times, and we don't really challenge our brains beyond, say for instance, you've gone to school, you've graduated, you got your degree, you got a certain job, you're presented with a certain salary, and you're content. Okay, there's nothing wrong with that. However, if you are not truly happy with self and you can wear such a bright, vibrant smile on your face about what you're doing, you really have to take a look at that and have certain self evaluation about yourself and say, what is it that I'm so uneasy about? And how can I grow from this point to become the person that I actually really want to become?
So, what advice would you give to an entrepreneur about different mindset tactics that they could do to keep themselves up and positive? Because I think we can all agree entrepreneurship is hard and it's lonely, and sometimes we have a lot of self-doubt and we get down very quickly. Are there certain things that they can do to kind of pull them back in and get that positive energy going?
Well, I believe that you actually should approach entrepreneurship from a mindset that is comfortable for you in terms of it's not supposed to be a dogmatic process. You understand? So you should, number one, stop comparing yourself to somebody else, right? Understand who you are and get to know who you are and what you can and cannot do. For instance, you've pushed me in this last 4 years that I have known you and coached me in a way that I love, but I also, that I push back and say,
Mhm.
I can only handle X at this particular time. So you need to understand, stop comparing yourself to somebody else. You got to know who you are and deal with entrepreneurship from your platform and what you can deal with. Number two, set those boundaries and understand, what are my boundaries? What am I willing to work with in terms of that, in terms of getting to where I want to go? Pace yourself. And I just mentioned to you before we started is that I've learned that I have to prioritize self-care over everything. And self care is so important to me so I can be able to have a clear mindset to even move to the next level. You see what I'm saying? So, in the beginning of the year, every year that you have mentored me, I have set clear vision and boundaries and I try to reach those, and then I can go to the next level and the next level and the next level. For somebody else, they may move at a very much faster pace. But I will say that number one, you need to stop comparing yourself to somebody else. You need to set a precedence in your mindset of what you can deal with and have boundaries to do that. You also need to celebrate yourself with small wins,
Mhm.
not constantly looking at the big picture all the time.
Yep.
But say, for instance, you've implemented something that you've never done before. For me, getting on video this last year or creating content around video was a bigger win for me. I didn't used to do that before. So celebrate yourself along the way, and then just basically stay engaged with people that are of and like mindsets. You
Right.
cannot hang around people that are not as driven as you are. You got to find your tribe that you fit into to be able to stay motivated and actualize actually what you want to complete by the end of each year.
And I love, for everybody who just listened to that, Mesha's talking about community of people who can motivate you, can hold you accountable, and who don't judge you, right? And don't
Right.
compare themselves. And I love the self care aspect of it. I know that you have changed my mindset to that. And I now take every Friday off, and you've been like celebrating that. And I do have to attribute that to you working on my mindset. So I may have been coaching you for a long time, but you know what? You've been coaching me too, girl.
So, I'm going to ask you this question. Since you have implemented every Friday off, like I've been doing for the last 3 or 4 years since you met me, what has that done for you? I always turn the interview around. So, what has that done for you?
Oh,
So,
come on.
people
This
can hear it.
isn't fair. I'm supposed to control this.
All
Um,
right.
you know what? What it's done for me as an entrepreneur, it allows me to clear my head. I'm going full force for 4 days straight, right? And I think everybody is going full force. And I don't really get a moment to even clear my head. And one day rolls into the next and rolls into the next. And by Thursday night, like tonight, I have my LinkedIn live and I'm celebrating the end of the week basically. And I go out on a high note talking with other entrepreneurs like yourself. And I that's been wonderful for me.
Right.
And
Right.
so I have really embraced this. And on Fridays, I don't feel the least bit guilty that I may not get around to all the emails. Nothing is that urgent. So it took me a long time. Like, this is the first time I've ever done that. And I've been an entrepreneur for a very long time.
I'm
So
proud of
I
you,
have to
though.
thank you. Yeah.
I'm
So
proud of you.
tell me, what is the greatest success you have had so far in your business? Something that stands out. I think I know.
Well, then tell me what has been the greatest success, Maureen?
Well, one of the things that I am most proud of you is when you got interviewed with AARP.
This
And you
time
were
last year, yes.
Yeah, when you were put on the map and they sought you out based on amazing content, so authentic, so genuine, real stuff on LinkedIn, and
Yes.
you were you. And I think from my perspective, that is, but maybe you have a different idea.
No, that was a turning point because, let's let the people know. When I first arrived to you, I stalked you. So, back in March of 2020. So, uh, when you come to coach with just notes, scribbles on paper, and you're not really clear about the vision of where you want your business to go, and one helps you, like you have, put the picture together like a Picasso. And then you start implementing. You have to remember, Maureen, you and I have been hooked at the hip since March of 20.
No,
No, actually, no, September
19.
2019. Yes.
Yes, it
I
was
mean,
before COVID.
right. You have helped me formulate websites, scrap a website, rebuild a website. We have done our first live event together for
Yeah.
Infrared Vision when it really wasn't a brand. And when you go through the process of going through all these processes of launching a brand online, trying to get the recognition and understand, how to position yourself in the marketplace and things of that nature. And I'm still evolving. I don't like to shy away and not let people know that while I am helping you, I am also evolving. So to get to that point of this time last year, to get that recognition from AARP, it was a validation. And so therefore, I see that we have synergy. And I am also now, as of this week, in pursuant of AARP to try to get infrared to work with them, because I feel that this year it is most important for me to uh, not just be a mentor to individuals, but I also feel it's very important for me to diversify the business infrared into companies now. I had that vision late last year, towards the end of, around Christmas, and I had an aha moment. And I took a look at the marketplace and I took a look at myself, and I was like, there is no reason why you cannot take your services and place it in front of businesses at all, because everyone needs a mindset shift and change, even in companies and corporations.
I love this because this is scaling, like this is evolution. And you started one way. And I say to people, just get your messaging, your product, and nail that first. You got to get it nailed down. And then you can take it to the next level. And so,
Mhm.
since we have spoken, this is totally a
Mhm.
shift in your
Right.
business. I knew there was stuff we were going to talk about that all of a sudden you're realizing that there is a gap out there and you can fill it. And that's, I say to people all the time, start with one, really make it awesome. And now you have street cred, right? You have
R-
social proof, you have an article behind you. Businesses need you, and you got to jump
Right.
on.
Right. I admit, when I first started with you, I had a one, I kind of considered myself a one trick pony. But then it bothered me because I've never been just a one trick pony in business, even before as an employee. So I always wanted to look at how infrared can diversify itself. So you'll be happy to know, and you'll be the first to know today, that I have been, in the last 2 months. I've done public. Well, you were there. I've done public speaking engagements, which I always had a vision for that. I've also sought out. I'm seeking to break into government as well. So I have someone that is volunteered to mentor me on how to get into the government aspect of business as well. And I also am looking to see, just like AARP, those types of companies where I'll find synergy. So I like it that there's many different highways that I can go in. That's why you see a big smile on my face.
Uh-huh.
And so when those areas are truly focused, laser focused and developed, then you can say, wow, I'm truly diversified this company and have many, many ways in order to be able to have an impact. And I love it.
I think this is awesome. This is progress, right?
Yeah.
And this
Yeah.
is called scaling. It isn't just building a business. This is scaling into other avenues that will take your business to a completely different level.
I think
So,
I just one more comment. I think entrepreneurs really need to understand that they have to, small businesses, most definitely, you have to really ask yourself questions in developing your business. How can you be more impactful in many different areas? It may have started out with one focus, but
yes.
you also have to understand, how can I expand this into other areas?
So let's talk about marketing. You've got two different groups here that you're trying to reach. You've got to message both of them. Is there a certain marketing strategy that you have that you use like constantly and having good success with?
I'm trying many different things. I can't really say right now that there is one tried and true thing. I believe that consistency is very important. I will say that one of my weaknesses that I've struggled with is actually putting myself out there in terms of real time and on video. If I'm going to talk about strengths, I need to talk about weaknesses. I'm very, very forthright about that. I have struggled with certain methodologies that are acceptable today in order to cultivate business. You remember where I would never ever um, even I didn't like posting, but I had to get
No.
over it. I
Uh-huh.
didn't like these kinds of interviews, but I had to get over it. So I will say I don't really like putting myself on video, but I'm working on it. So there's a lot of many different things that I'm dabbling into that I'm trying, and I want to look into the camera and say, if you just try, you're a lot further along than people that will stay behind closed doors and just say no to everything. And that's the mindset that I had to put myself in, is just try it, right? I don't buy into everything, but I at least try it. You've been trying to get me to do email marketing and things of that nature. So I'm going to try it. So I will say that I don't jump into everything. I kind of look at who am I speaking to? I'm speaking to the 40 plus communities. So I want to make sure that I am laser focused on where my audience is, where I want to go. You won't find me on certain platforms. I'm not going to
Nope.
do it because
Nope.
it's not a good fit, but I definitely want to make sure that I reach out to my audience in the right places and where they're at in the right mindset. My personality is not one to, I love that people like TikTok and things of that nature, those types of platforms, but I'm not a TikTok person. You won't find me on there, but I will try other avenues and see how it goes. And I think we should stay in a diversified mindset when we do those types of things for our business.
And I am loving how you are jumping out of your comfort zone, but you do it on your own time. You're not copying everybody else. I love how, we've talked about that target audience and where are they showing up, and you are going where they're showing up, and just you're there and you're speaking to them instead of spreading yourself thin. And I think that's one of the things that I find entrepreneurs, they want to go and do everything and they don't do everything really well. I think you're picking a few things, Mesha, and doing them really, really well. And so kudos to
What's
you.
my rule? You know my rule. My rule,
Yeah.
if it's more than three things, I'm not doing it.
And I love that. You hear that advice out there? Three things. I always say no more than two social media
You already
platforms.
know.
You're just
You
doing
know me a
one.
long time. I have not deviated from that thing. I'm like,
No,
Maureen, if you give me more than three things, I'm not doing it.
I
So
know.
I'd rather do three things correctly than trying to do 70 things wrong. So, and I'll never change on that, to be honest with you.
I cannot tell you how much great information you have given to entrepreneurs tonight, Misha.
Oh,
I
thank
really,
you.
if you unpack what you have said tonight, like I can't even sum it up each time. I'll have to go back and listen to the recording.
Oh,
And I may actually just take snippets of your voice and put it out there, because there is so much here for entrepreneurs that I hope people who have been watching take a few notes. So, we're almost at our like 30-minute mark. Everything just flies when we're together. So, but I
yes,
do
we
want
do.
you to let people out there know how they can get a hold of you,
Mhm.
whether it's a business or it's somebody personally who needs to work with you. What are the
All
best ways?
right. Hey, if you want to reach me, you can reach me at, you can actually email me at info at infraredvision.org. And if you want to also work with us, you can go out to the website of www.infraredvision.org as well, .com. So we're actually restructuring our workshops right now. So I want to make sure that the people know that we mentor you through workshops. And then if you choose to work with us personally after the workshop, then we'll be doing that as well. We're reorganizing our programs right now. and it'll be more clarified in the month of April. But hey,
Awesome.
if you want to change your mindset, we're here to help you.
Kudos to you. Cheers to you. I am so glad that you were able to kick off this next year. And I have to say, this was out of my comfort zone a year ago. I had never gone live stream. And like I said, I had the
You're
vision.
right.
I didn't know how it was going to come to fruition, but I've had amazing rock star entrepreneurs like you and the others before you who have made it so much easier for me to show up. So I'm telling everybody out there, jump out of your comfort zone. Mesha and I have both demonstrated that we're doing it and it's worked out. All right,
Yes,
come
I
on.
have.
Come on, it,
Yay.
it has
Yes.
worked out.
You know
And you know
what?
what?
I just want to lead the people with this. Let people know that you're human. You see,
Right,
you've
right.
heard through this interview that I have my strengths, I have my weaknesses. You got to People got to stop putting on this face of, oh, I'm so astute and I never make mistakes. No, in order to be successful, you have to. Humanity is one of my first things that I love to deal with, and be real. You got to be real with the people, be authentic with the people. You understand? Because that's the way that you grow. You don't grow by putting on facades of perfection. It's just not going to work out.
On that note, those are very wise words.
You always tell me I'm wise.
You are wise. Well, Misha, I know that you will be back and I know you will have amazing things to share with us again. And I want to say thank you for coming back. I know we have a huge celebration tonight afterwards for all of the rock stars who have contributed to the success of Why Are You an Entrepreneur? And for those of you out there who are walking this journey, if you would like to be a guest, I would love to have you. So please reach out to me. You can direct message me on LinkedIn and Facebook, or you can just reach out to Goldfish at 8simplesteps.net. And of course, my website is 8simplesteps.net. If you're finding entrepreneurship hard, and it is, and you find things stalling a little bit, regardless how much you're marketing and how many videos you're creating and how many posts you're making, please reach out to me. There's an answer for it. Okay. There's a reason and an answer on how to fix it. So I'd love to see you. All right. We're off to our celebration. I will be back next week again. Rock stars are the only people I have on here. And you know why they're rock stars? Because entrepreneurs in general are calculated risk takers. They're super courageous. They have bravery and a work ethic like no other. How could you not be a rock star if you call yourself an entrepreneur? All right, Misha, we're out of here. Good night, everybody.
Good
And
night, everyone.
we'll see you soon. Bye.